Number 15. Flashing meteor. A meteor flashes brilliantly in the sky over Portugal, leaving viewers stunned. Shared on X by The Insider paper, this footage captured at night reveals just how impressive and scary nature can be.
Что это? А что это? Блин, а что это было?
Although the occupants of the video are speaking in Russian, this was indeed captured in Portugal. Some are saying it's Superman. Others think extraterrestrials are invading. But the object has been identified as a meteor, spotted by many streaking across the skies over Spain and Portugal on May 18th of this year, 2024. The fireball was visible for several seconds as it blazed a trail behind it. Observers reported seeing the meteor around 10 p.m. local time, with many capturing the event on cameras and smartphones and sharing it on social media. Astronomers explained that the meteor was likely a fragment of a larger celestial body that entered the Earth's atmosphere at high speed, causing it to ignite due to friction with the air. As it descended, the meteor produced a stunning light show, bursting into white and green hues before disintegrating into smaller pieces. Residents from Madrid to Lisbon reported hearing a distant rumble following the meteor's passage. Although that might have unsettled some, meteor sightings aren't a rare occurrence. Each year, some 30 meteor showers are visible to us Earthlings, but it's always interesting and shocking to see one of this magnitude right before your very eyes. Number 14. The Red Lady. A dark omen cometh your way. Originating from an unknown source, TikToker Dark Moose Man shares this mysterious footage of a strange encounter on an empty road. The driver and a companion weave through the night, winding their way toward their destination. At first, all is silent and no one is in sight. But as they drive along the empty lane, a figure in red appears out of nowhere, strolling along the shoulder of the road. The towering figure looks either human or humanoid, dressed entirely in a vibrant red robe. The entity cuts a striking figure in the dead of night. The drivers acknowledge the strange presence, but continue on as though nothing happened. While we're more familiar with white lady ghosts, as they often appear on our lists, red lady ghosts are rarer to come by, but are also a steadfast character in many cultural traditions. These apparitions are frequently associated with tales of love, betrayal, and violent death. In European folklore, they're often linked to noble women or members of royalty who suffered untimely or brutal deaths. such as Lady Catherine, the Red Lady of Ireland's Huntingdon Castle. The red dress is symbolic, representing both their violent end and the bloodshed they endured. In Asian cultures, particularly in Japan and China, the Red Lady often represents the spirit of a wronged woman, seeking justice or revenge. These spirits, known as Onryo in Japan, are believed to possess the power to influence the living world. The red attire in these stories symbolizes both anger and the intense energy of the spirit. Across many cultures, the appearance of a Red Lady ghost is considered an omen. For example, in British folklore, seeing a Red Lady is often thought to foretell a significant and usually tragic event. Is this Red Lady foretelling a tragedy unknown? She may be, and if she is, these drivers should be wary of what's around the bend. Number 13. Organic unidentified flying object. This organic unidentified flying object, seen over India, has some thinking portal and others thinking hologram. Instagrammer The Confessionals Podcast shares footage of the mysterious celestial object hanging over what appears to be a temple. While the white object forming is strange enough, a much smaller black object appears to descend from it into the lower cloud. Then, the strange organic shape shrinks to nothing and completely disappears. Instagrammer Brandon Repshire suggests in the comments that this is a process called cloud seeding, a man-made weather modification that disperses rain clouds, usually in cases of drought. But others, including the uploader, think it's something extraterrestrial. In recent years, there has been increasing interest in the phenomenon of organic, unidentified flying objects, which are perceived as living entities rather than traditional spacecraft. Unlike the characteristic disks, these organic flyers exhibit biological-looking attributes, such as fluid movements and adaptive behaviors. Eyewitness accounts often describe the objects as having a translucent or luminescent quality, with shapes that can shift and morph in mid-air, similar to jellyfish. This description looks exactly like what we're seeing here. Some report seeing structures with tentacle-like appendages, or entities that resemble large, glowing amoebas. One notable incident occurred in 2007 over Santiago, Chile, where several witnesses reported a luminous, pulsating object hovering over the city, drifting and moving as if carried by unseen currents. The object's behavior was unpredictable, yet with purpose, like a deep-sea creature navigating the ocean's depths. These sightings suggest the potential existence of airborne life forms that defy our current understanding of biology and physics. Could these entities be a form of undiscovered terrestrial life? Or are they visitors from other worlds, descending? Number 12. The Lurker. Dogs always know. There's something lurking in the woods, And TikToker Tilby88888's pet is on high alert. Take a look.
Космоса. Let's go.
You can see a dark figure moving ever so slightly through the trees, and the dog's hesitance may have just saved their lives. Many in the comments are saying you should always trust a dog's intuition. Others believe this figure doesn't feel human. TikToker Digital Duncan writes, "I feel such weird energy from that thing. My body flooded with chills. And maybe it really isn't human at all." Dogs are often believed to possess an uncanny ability to sense the paranormal. Numerous anecdotal reports suggest that dogs may perceive entities or energies beyond human detection. Some pet owners report their dogs following invisible entities with their eyes, acting protectively, or refusing to enter certain rooms. Scientific explanations suggest that dogs' heightened senses might account for their reactions. Their acute hearing and sense of smell could pick up on subtle environmental changes or sounds that humans cannot detect. Additionally, dogs are highly attuned to their owner's emotions and body language, which could influence their behavior in situations perceived as paranormal.
Let's go.
While it's clear that this woman also sees that something's there, the dog's heightened perception alerted them to its presence much sooner. Had it not, who knows what may have happened. Number 11. The Whisper. What would you do if you heard someone whisper your name into the silence? Redditor IggyTalls15 shares this frightening security camera footage that had him running for the hills. Listen closely. The Redditor shares some context in the comments, writing, "I heard someone very distinctly whisper, 'Mike,' from behind me. I thought one of my kids had walked downstairs, but when I saw there was no one, I bolted. It was just me and the dogs and cats around 12 a.m. According to Mike, the home was built in the 1850s and has one haunted former resident, a crew member who died in the Halifax explosion of 1917. Many in the comments are alarmed that Mike left his dog to fend for himself. Redditor Matches Malone 1216 writes, "Just leave your little chubby dog to be eaten by the demon." But the dog seems rather unconcerned. Maybe he knows it's not a malevolent spirit. Mike also states he initially assumed his wife was messing with him through the camera, but it was around midnight, and everyone in the house was asleep. When he ran upstairs and woke her up, she stayed up for hours analyzing the video. Even creepier, other Redditors are also hearing the word "kill" a few seconds before the voice says Mike. Listen to see if you hear it too. The dog even seems to react to the first whisper, but again, looks rather unperturbed. It seems this is a common occurrence. Many relate their own creepy stories of unknown whispers in the comments. They agree that the feeling is rather unsettling. So, are we all being haunted by murderous spirits? It's time to run. Number 10. The Follower. Is this Tesla simply malfunctioning? Or is this driver being followed by an unseen spiritual being? TikToker Alberto Magana shares this strange footage of their Tesla's street visualization screen and the invisible stalker seemingly marching after them. Tesla's street visualization screen is a feature of the company's full self-driving technology, providing real-time imagery of surrounding vehicles, pedestrians, and obstacles, which is intended to enhance safety and autonomy of its vehicles. So what is it capturing here? The OP says they've never experienced anything like this with their Tesla. Some in the comments are saying it's a ghost, citing the fact that they've seen multiple human forms in cemeteries when there was no one in sight. TikToker Prue Marino suggests it's Elon Musk following them. But there have been many other cases of this advanced system displaying images of people that aren't actually there. In one instance, a Tesla driver in a suburban neighborhood noticed the screen repeatedly showing pedestrians standing on an empty road. Despite driving through the street late at night, figures appeared on the sidewalk, causing the driver to double-check his surroundings. Unable to spot anyone, he reviewed the footage later and confirmed the visual anomaly, sparking discussions about potential glitches or paranormal explanations. Another peculiar incident involved a Tesla owner driving along a rural highway. The screen began to show a lone pedestrian walking along the shoulder of the road. The driver slowed down, carefully scanning the area, but saw no one. These mysterious episodes have fueled speculation. While some attribute these anomalies to software bugs or sensor malfunctions, others wonder if there might be more to these ghostly apparitions than meets the eye. What do you think is happening here? Number 9. Nursing home ghost. Is a ghost drifting through this nursing home break room? Shared by YouTuber Melissa Kolza Rogolski, this security camera footage shows a black entity moving across the screen. The semi-transparent figure appears again shortly after, moving in the same direction. It also can be seen briefly appearing and then disappearing at different points in the room. While Melissa believes this is a break room ghost, it looks more like a bug moving across the lens. Even its movements are bug-like. Some in the comments are saying it's a gnat, but could it really be a spirit? Security cameras occasionally capture shadowy figures moving through footage, prompting a range of theories. The lack of clear, identifiable features and the figure's seemingly random movements feed into the narrative that it could be something otherworldly. However, several logical explanations can account for this appearance, including insects near the camera lens, which, when out of focus, can form shadowy orbs. Technical issues with the camera itself can also contribute, such as glitches, pixelation, or frame rate inconsistencies, which can create visual artifacts. While it's tempting to think this is a spirit, after all, this is a nursing home, we can't discount that this particular figure could be environmentally explained. Number 8. Laundry room ghost. Even phantoms have to wash their raggedy old garb once in a while. Redditor D.S. Vengalis shares this mysterious video of a washing machine door opening inexplicably at night. The OP gives some context in the comments, explaining that this laundry is in the basement of a century-old theater. The security footage is from around 8 a.m. when no one was there. And after examining the washer, they found nothing to suggest the door was faulty. They say you have to physically pull it open. It clicks securely in place and isn't loose. Some in the comments think the ghost needs to wash his one sheet. While this may be a joke, here's a fun fact for you. The concept of ghosts wearing sheets is largely tied to burial practices in medieval Europe. During this time, it was common for the deceased to be buried in a shroud, aka a simple cloth or sheet, rather than the elaborate coffins and burial clothes of today. This practice was both practical and affordable, especially for the poor. The shroud would cover the body completely, often tied at the head and feet. Over time, the depiction of ghosts in literature, art, and theater began to reflect these burial practices. From the 18th century on, the sheeted ghost became a popularized character and still is today. So, is this just a ghost washing his burial shroud? Others still think this may just be a malfunction. Redditor NASA Reject writes, "The fact that the light turns on before it opens makes me think it's a faulty latch. I had this happen a ton in college, at a house we thought was haunted. Got a new washer, and it never happened again. What do you think this is? Laundry ghost or faulty latch?" Though the general consensus is a faulty latch, Redditor Don't Trust the Llamas has come to a unanimous conclusion, writing, "Doing laundry even when I'm dead is my idea of hell." We all couldn't agree more. Number 7. Spirit following. When a spirit starts stalking you, there's no end in sight. Elizabeth Greengirl 88 shares this eerie capture from her security camera. The strange semi-transparent figure is captured moving past in the darkness before disappearing. Many Redditors in the comments find this video compelling. Lazy Pianist 3080 writes, "This is something. Many things posted in here have an explanation that isn't paranormal. I am aware of the usual lens flare, bug, spiderweb, dust. And this doesn't look like any of those to me. But some are chalking the strange image up to a camera glitch. The most compelling theory, however, has come from one Redditor, Sensitive AD 5331's keen eye. They write, "Looks like he's got a cigarette in his right hand between 4 seconds to 3 seconds. I think that's a thick puff that got blown out before he turned to the garbage, and the low-res camera made the cloud look weirder than it really is." Many agree with this Redditor, and after taking a closer look, it does seem like a possible explanation. What do you think? Is this just cigarette smoke taking on an interesting form? Or is this a spirit stalker? Number 6. Vanishing Act. When a person just up and vanishes right in front of you, you've got to wonder, are there higher planes that only some beings can traverse? Instagrammer Paranoid Normal shares mysterious footage of a disappearing act worth investigating. As many in the comments point out, the man appears to puff a cigarette before taking a leap of faith into the void. But there doesn't appear to be a pit there, or anything else to disappear into. It's like he jumped right through the grass. Others take note of a strange black figure below, right where the man vanishes. It looks like it's beckoning him to take the leap. Did we just see this man step into another dimension? Or is the mysterious black figure luring him into hell? This one's a toss-up. Either it's clever editing, or we've stumbled upon the portal to another realm. Number 5. The Face. Imagine sleeping in your car and seeing this looming over you in the darkness. Redditor Katie Cricket shares this image of an apparent face captured in a nearby tree. Is someone watching her? Some in the comments think it's an owl, but it sure doesn't look like one. Especially after Redditor Mimibox shares this image, which they cleaned up with iPhone filters. They write, "Typical ghost with black eye sockets, maybe in a blazer." The OP responds, "I want to thank you for taking the time, but also I don't, because it looks worse and now I see a beard. While it looks like a clear face to most, others think it's all in our minds." Huge Airy 2435 writes, "Your mind is playing tricks on you because you are looking in the darkness and your brain is filling in the gaps." This explanation is known as pareidolia. Pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon where the mind perceives familiar patterns, such as faces or figures, in random stimuli. The brain's tendency to recognize these patterns is believed to be an evolutionary trait, helping early humans quickly identify faces and potential threats in their environment. But with this trait comes a certain trickery. For example, people might see faces in clouds, the moon's surface, or even everyday objects like the front of a car. And in fact, that's exactly what this is. A face carved into the tree. The OP shares her explanation in the comments, writing, "So it was legit just bark patterning. I couldn't move long enough that I stared enough to work it out." While the mystery is solved, you can't blame her. That is some super creepy bark patterning, and not many have captured pareidolia quite that convincing. Number 4. Light beams. Something ominous is happening in the sky over Japan. Sharing this image, ex-user Totoro8201 writes, "A streak of light was spotted in the sky over Makuria Port in Daisen Town, Tottori, at around 10 p.m. today." The image shows 9 light beams shooting vertically in the sky. A second ex-user, Mashi Teo, appears to have captured the same series of light beams from across the way. They write, "I also saw it at Narishi Beach in Katura Town." While these images went viral and raised many questions about a potential extraterrestrial invasion, several articles suggest these light pillars are natural. The Peninsula Qatar states that the beams of light are a phenomenon known locally as Izaribi Kochu. The name Izaribi Kochu comes from the bright lights fishermen use during night fishing to lure fish. These lights are called Isaribi. Low temperatures, empty skies, and ice crystals in the atmosphere can set the stage for these vertical pillars to form. Japan Today added that large enough ice crystals without precipitation are crucial for this phenomenon to be spotted. Massimo, an engineer known for explaining scientific phenomena on social media, further clarified that this intriguing sight is an atmospheric optical phenomenon that gives the illusion of vertical light beams extending on each side of a light source, sometimes even seeming to be detached. So, before you prepare yourself for an intergalactic battle, take heed. These beams of light are more than likely man-made. Number 3. Skeletor's face. A face is following Redditor Aromatic Sweet 666. This photo, shared by the Redditor, reveals what appears to be a stark white face hidden in the trees. The face looks a bit like it's surrounded by a head of dark hair. It's hard to tell if it's human or not. Some in the comments are saying it's not a face at all, but rather pareidolia. This is the tendency to see a specific image in an ambiguous and random visual pattern. Others say it looks like Skeletor, or a person in a hockey mask. While our eyes may actually be playing tricks on us, that doesn't explain the feeling of being watched. What evils lie in these woods? Whatever they are, they're stalking you. Number 2. The scream. What would you do if you heard this sound at 1 a.m. in your apartment complex? TikToker Miss Mike shares unsettling footage of something banging and screaming outside. Some in the comments say she's screaming, "Please open it," in Indonesian. But many others are warning the TikToker not to listen. TikToker L writes, "This could be a trap, so don't open your door carelessly." It certainly does sound like a trap, and in many cases, it is. A disturbing tactic has emerged where individuals knock on doors in the middle of the night, pretending to seek help, but with the intention of committing burglary. This tactic preys on the goodwill of unsuspecting homeowners, exploiting their desire to help a stranger in distress. In reality, these strangers have accomplices ready to break in, or already in the act of burglarizing the victim's home. This is what's known as a distraction burglary. Authorities recommend not opening doors to strangers at night, and instead calling the police if someone appears to need help. One TikToker, Sarah Anna, confirms this need for heightened caution in the comments, writing, "I went through this at 1 a.m. as well with my newborn, and the lady ended up climbing through a window. Left me traumatized. Consider this a warning. Don't let it happen to you." Number 1. Meteorite crashing. As we've already seen on this list, meteors can be awe-inspiring, majestic sights, but sometimes they can hit too close to home. TikToker Nunix Official shares this footage of a nearby meteorite that did not break up very well in the atmosphere. Some in the comments say it looks more like a missile than a meteorite. But considering the stats of impact meteorites, readily dismissing this as one seems lax. Every year, thousands of meteorites hit Earth, though the vast majority are tiny and go unnoticed. On average, our planet is bombarded by over 17,000 meteorites annually, according to scientists. If you're wondering what the difference is between a meteorite, meteor, and asteroid, don't worry. You don't have to retake Earth Science 101. When meteors enter the Earth's atmosphere, they break up through friction. But meteorites don't. They are the remnants of asteroids or comets that have survived the fiery passage through Earth's atmosphere. These space rocks can range in size from tiny grains of sand to massive boulders weighing several tons. While the majority burn up as meteors, which we saw earlier in this list, some do make it to the ground. Is this an example of one? Smaller meteorite impacts occur almost daily. However, they often fall in uninhabited areas or into the oceans, making them less likely to be observed. When meteorites do land in populated areas, this can be the result. While some TikTokers think this is a fallen angel, not a meteorite, others believe it's edited in. TikToker Sean Christopher McGee writes, "If this is true, there would be a delay in the sound after impact. If it happened closer, the sound would have been distorted." While we may not come to a consensus on this one, we can agree on one thing. When things start falling from the sky, they'll bring back your bedtime prayers.